Hey guys, I'm Andrea and welcome to episode 4 of Careers Are Weird. Oh my god, so funny thing happened this week and there's so many memes about it, but then I was watching it happen in real time and I'm like, we are one big joke. It was one of the girls' birthdays at the office and we ordered in a bunch of donuts. And tell me why the first thing anyone did was get a knife? Like actual LOL, because there's something about being in a corporate office that makes people only eat half a donut instead of just taking a whole one. Like, where is the unwritten corporate law that states if there are pastries in the pantry, thou shalt cut it and only take half? I'm going to leave a question in the Spotify question section because I need to know, do you guys only eat whole donuts at work or do you cut it and only eat half? Because I grabbed the whole one and left them with their knives. I could not handle all of that. Anyway, so we're done with jokes. This is a corporate podcast. So let's jump into today's topic. I know it's a little controversial and I know some people will think differently. So as always, these are my views on careers being weird and why I think titles matter. So, guys, I firmly believe that being undertitled is worse than being underpaid because it's so much more limited. And I'm just going to say mic drop here because I can't afford to drop this mic. But for real, this is a relevant and timely topic because it's been my reality for the last 2 months. Now, again, this isn't company slander because any of you can go connect with me on LinkedIn and see exactly where I work and piece 2 and 2 together. But like, this is my actual life that I've been dealing with that I want to share in hopes of it helping you negotiate your titles and any changes you need. I love me a definition to work off, so I asked Chatty, what is a job title? It is a specific designation given to an employee that describes their position and role within an organization. It encapsulates the nature of their work, the level of responsibility they hold, and their place within the company's hierarchy. Okay, cool. So then, Chatty, what's the importance of an accurate job title? Clear representation of role, internal consistency in communication, performance expectations, and arguably the most important one to me, marketability and searchability. So let's back up. A year ago, I was hired as a business data analyst. However, it's a startup environment and your girl ended up wearing many hats and ended up very, very involved in damn near every part of the business. And I take responsibility for a lot of that happening because I am naturally curious. I love to contribute ideas and overall I do like getting involved. So let's fast forward 6 months. Why is the business data analyst in every sales meeting and reporting sales headlines to C-suite every week? Somehow I'm the go-to project manager because I can use Asana, but also we need you to head up the research for the market study and do the market interviews. And whilst you're at it, that will double up as BD for a technology platform. Just like pause. Now, there is nothing wrong with your role changing and growing as you learn more and grow within your company, but there is a massive problem when people no longer know what you do and what your core skill sets are and therefore what your priorities are. So there's 2 big things that really triggered me to do something about my title. Number 1, no one at work actually knew what I did anymore, and one of the guys was disrespectful and tried to pawn off some work on me that sure as hell was not for me. Number 2, as a LinkedIn girly, I am fortunate to have recruiters in my DMs every 2 months-ish, reaching out with like a potential role. I started to notice that as of late, the roles coming to me were too junior for me because recruiters were reaching out based on business data analysts and not who I've really been operating as. So this is why I started by saying I firmly believe that being undertitled is worse than being underpaid because it's so much more limiting. You can always go out and get more money, but recruiters will always base that new role on your existing one. And before they even talk to you, they're judging you off of your title. All right, so I was getting offers based on my current title. And for example, one was Senior Business Data Analyst. I looked at the job description and I could do 100% of what it said, which is a red flag for another episode, but you should never go for a job where you can do 100% of the job description, especially not at our age. You need there to be things in the job description that you cannot do yet because those things are what you're going to learn and therefore how you're going to grow from the new role. But that's another topic for another day. So back to me handling this situation. I had to block time on my boss's calendar and we had to go through it. And he was stumped, genuinely. Like, I put out suggestions. We went back and forth for 2 months on this. He thought some of my suggestions were too senior. And it was a process and it was hard because the truth was I had grown into such a unique role. He eventually asked me to write my new job description and then we'd work off that. And if I had $1 for every time the last 2 months he said, you wear multiple hats, blah, blah, blah. It was just, I was getting grumpy and I was struggling with what my priorities should be. And he was struggling because I was making it impossible to ignore the topic. Like, I was not stopping until we made a change. It got to the point, guys, where I said what any 27-year-old on the verge of losing her shit would say. I looked him dead in the eye and I said, if I resign tomorrow and this is the job description we've just written for me, what title would you use to advertise this role? Dramatic pause, because that's a heavy question to ask. And disclaimer, I didn't start this negotiation with this question. It's way too aggressive for that. This was a 2-month-long conversation that was being dragged on before I dropped if I quit tomorrow. And I understand the characters in my simulation, but, the big thing that came out of it for me was like, you have to advocate for yourself because no one will care enough about your title and therefore will not do anything about it until you take it into your own hands. And by the way, if you're still listening, I am officially the head of data and commercial operations now. Funsies. But anyway, so the whole point of this topic in Or Weird Careers is the titles you have along the way will set you up for your future roles so much more than you can see now. Because recruiters, before they know anything about you, can only see and judge your capabilities and fit for your role based on the title you hold. And I started by saying it's controversial because there are people who think a title is just a title, whatever. But if you really want to grow and build your own brand within your industry or set yourself up to pivot, the title you hold matters massively. We're young, I get that, but don't let your boss juniorize you. If you see you're doing work outside of your agreed upon title, do the work, but set up time to discuss how to incorporate that growth into your title. It's a silly little thing for some people, but it matters hugely, like massively. I can see how all this sounds like I did all of this to get a better offer and quit. But no, I really do like my job. It's actually really cool and challenging. And it's challenging professionally and personally. Like, going through this the last 2 months has helped me grow and understand the importance of advocating for myself. So the takeaway from this episode is look at the title and the job description you agreed to when you first signed on to the company. Look at how that role has grown and evolved and the new tasks you do that don't align with your current title, and sit down with your boss and start the conversation and just ask and get the ball rolling. You can always go out and get a new job with more money, but the new jobs available to you will be limited by the current title you hold. If you're listening, especially to these early episodes, episode 4, I'm guessing you're a friend of mine. So if you want to talk about this more, message me. I genuinely love to chat more about it and help in any way I can. All right, I can exhale now. That's it for this week. Please, please, please take a step back from your day today and just look at your role and growth and ensure your title reflects it. I really hope this was thought-provoking for you because it's been really helpful for me to reflect on why I've put so much emphasis on this the last couple of months and why I felt so strongly about it and why I wouldn't leave my boss alone until we actually did something about it. I appreciate you guys listening. I always do. Please follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. I'll post new episodes every Wednesday. So till then, stay weird and stay ambitious, my friends.